Okay, and now, listeners to the podcast, fans of the Plastic Scousers, Matt, Owen, that's me and you. It's time for the Plastic Scousers to introduce to you, for the first time, LLFCC.
This is LLFCC, sponsored by Vicks Vapor. Rub it in and clear those passages.
Hello, this is LLFCC. Welcome to the show. I'm Matt Simpson.
And I'm Owen Collins.
And over the next half hour, we'll be taking your questions all about Liverpool Football Club as we reach a critical time in the season. We'll answer your calls, texts, emails, tweets, carrier pigeon messages, and hecklings from the pavement outside the studio on all the major talking points over the season so far. So let's get straight on and take our first caller of the night. Line 1, you're on the air. What's your name and what's your question?
Hello, man. Hi, I'm Graham. It's a long-time listener, first-time caller. It's really good to be a first caller on tonight. Thanks very much for having me on. I just wanted to say, I just got a question about our goalkeeping situation. Like, I know it's something we've probably been discussing, but like, I just think, what was the point in bringing Danny Ward back from loan, man, if we're not going to play him? Like, Simon Mignolet's been absolute, and I don't want to offend any listeners that are listening. Like, I don't want to be offensive, but Simon Mignolet's been absolute shite all season. He's been absolute shite.
Whoa, careful your language.
Yeah, no, sorry, Graham. That language might be common where you're from, northeast, possibly by the sounds of it. Hard to tell, but yeah, no, if you could keep it civil, please. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, sorry. No, so Simon Mignolet, he's been absolute bullshit. Also, Graham,
careful.
You're not hearing us, Graham. We're gonna cut you off if you don't behave yourselves.
Graham,
I think we can all agree that Simon Mignolet's not been in the halcyon days of his career over the last few months. We've got that point. What's your point, Graham? Right, sorry. No, so what I'm saying is Simon Mignolet not been good. He's not been good this season. So we've got Danny Ward back. Danny Ward's come back from Aberdeen. Why are we not playing him, man? Why are we not playing Danny Ward if he's a better keeper than Simon Mignolet? It's like we're willfully saying, I don't know what to eat for dinner tonight, man. I really like pizza, and pizza really agrees with me, and I really like pizza. But instead I'm gonna go and eat like a mouldy fish or something like that. I'm just gonna go down to the river and catch a fish and wait till it goes mouldy and eat the fish for me dinner instead of eating this really nice pizza I got in my fridge. Like, what's that all about? That's what I'm asking you.
Right, Graham. Thank you very much. It's a great question. Owen, what's your take on this? Danny Ward's been brought back, but Mignolet continues to play in goal, and Bogdan seems to be absolutely nowhere near close to the side. Owen, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, thanks, Graham, for that incredibly passionate first question to get us off to begin with. I do think that probably Danny Ward coming back is a good move. It's good to see Klopp bringing his young players back to the fold and making them train in the way he wants them to train. There's no point sending players out on loan if they're going to learn a completely different skill set to the one that Klopp will then want them to play with.
He said that himself. He wants to get the players in training.
Exactly. But I mean, if I was Danny Ward right now, I would feel quite annoyed that I was having a really good season at Aberdeen, was winning loads of plaudits, loads of fans, loads of acclaim, getting into the Wales squad. I mean, let's not forget, Danny Ward could potentially be going to the European Championships.
Very good point, yeah.
He was first choice goalkeeper for a Premiership side, and now he's sitting on the bench every week, even against, even in the FA Cup games where people like Kevin Stewart are starting, and what's his name? Teixeira, even in games where we're playing players like that, Danny Ward is still second to Simon Mignolet, and I do feel he has a right to. I mean, yeah, you could argue it's better to be warming the bench at Liverpool than starting for Aberdeen, but frankly, I think that's a very disrespectful attitude to Aberdeen.
It's a very good point,
what's your attitude?
I believe, I agree with you entirely. I would like to see Danny Ward playing games, for sure. I don't think Bogdan's good enough. I don't think Mignolet's good enough. And certainly hasn't been, and Danny Ward maybe deserves his chance. He is still young. Don't forget, he might make mistakes. Young players make mistakes. Look at John Stones at Everton, for example. He's had a bit of a tough time in the last few weeks. He's made quite a few mistakes, but I think the only way you learn is by playing games. Maybe being able to take a look back and reflect on performances by being able to watch them back. I think you're making some very valid points, and I would like to see If not him playing every game, certainly him playing more games than none, which he currently is playing.
Yes, and I think the thing is, as well, is that fans will be a lot more forgiving towards a young player making mistakes than a player like Mignolet, who really should know better. I mean, I don't know if we've still got Graham on the line. I am still here. Yep. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Graham, what do you think of that? I know you make some very good points. Like, if I was Danny Ward, I'd be furious. And like, yeah, I mean, if Danny Ward came in and he let a goal through his legs, like, I think, well, fair play to him. He's Welsh, for one thing, and also, like, he's young. He's young. It's his first game. It's his debut, whether it's against Arsenal, or it's against Augsburg, or it's against Stoke. Like, you know, he's a young player. Let him make a few mistakes. Let him learn from his mistakes.
Graham,
I mean,
Graham, 1 second.
I've got to say it. Can I make one more point, please, Matt? Can I make one? I would play him in defence. I wouldn't even play him in goal. I think he's that good a player. I rate him that highly. I think he's that good a player. I think he could do a job in defence for us.
Graham, can I ask, where are you calling from?
Look, I'm calling from Gateshead.
Gateshead, okay. And what's your surname, Graham?
My surname?
Yeah.
Donnelly.
Don, are you sure? Because you're sounding.
Donnelly.
Because I'm getting some. I've had some research come through here that you're maybe got a relation to Danny Ward. Is that right?
No. I tell you. I've had this following me around, right, for months. Nothing happened that night, right. I just bumped into my club. We got on. We were just talking about football, right. We were just football and wrestling. We're just men, you know. We like talking about football and wrestling and like wine, like really nice wine. Like he likes a good Pinot Grigio, and so we were just talking about that. And I offered him a lift home, and suddenly I'm all over Newcastle Evening Gazette, and nothing happened. And I would really appreciate it.
Right.
I would really appreciate it, Matthew, if I could come on this show and not have these vile accusations thrown back in my face. I thought this was supposed to be a serious radio show, and you are peddling cheap tittle tattle like that.
Graham,
I'm ashamed.
I'm going to have to cut you off, I'm afraid. I'm going to have to cut you off.
ashamed.
Graham, I'm going to have to cut you off. Sorry, I've cut you off. Sorry about that, Owen. It seems that he was getting a bit passionate, and we couldn't let that keep happening.
I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that, actually, Matt, because I had seen those reports, and yeah, I wasn't quite sure whether to broach him. He seemed a very, very volatile man.
He's very passionate,
Although he does make an interesting point about playing Danny Ward in defence. He is a very tall man. He could do a job for us there.
He could do a very good job for us there. Yes. Let's have a quick look. Owen, what are they saying on social media and on the messages that's coming in?
You can also get in touch with us on social media at LLFCC, of course, leading Liverpool Football Club's conversation. So if you've got any questions to send in, please do send them to that address. Matt, I believe we do have a question sent in already.
We do, yes. We've had a question sent on Twitter, all about. This is from Dean Deeney, which is a nice little reference to the sadly recently departed David Bowie. It's a nice name.
Yes, very nice.
All right, guys. It says, all right, guys. It's Dean from the Wirral. My question is, what the bloody hell is all this about that contract with Mignolet? It's not the goalkeeping question, but slightly different angle on this. 5-year contract. Is Klopp having a laugh?
Well, Deanie, and may I just again compliment you on that excellent handle. Yes, to be honest, I think Klopp is having a laugh. I mean, if you look at every press conference he's given since he took over, having a laugh seems to be one of his key priorities. And I do wonder if this new contract for Mignolet is just partly a massive joke at Liverpool fans' expense. He's trolling us effectively.
You think so?
I think so. I think what he's done there is he's played us a blinder from the kind of the school of false expectation, and he's basically just said, "Look, guys, this guy's a great goalkeeper. I'm giving him a new 5-year contract. He's going to be here until 2021." And yeah, really, the whole time he's planning on buying a new keeper in the summer, and no one is going to be more disappointed than Mignolet himself, I think.
It does seem a bit strange that he would sign a new contract, but we would be buying a new keeper in the summer.
Well, what you've got to think about, Matt, is Mignolet's market value, and of course, shares in Simon Mignolet have never been higher, especially now that he's tied down for another 6 years. So, really, think how much money we'll get for him.
Can you make a case for Mignolet at all here?
Can
you make?
No, I can. I can make a very strong case for Mignolet. I actually took my car around to him a couple of weeks ago, and not only did he do an excellent job on the outside, proper T-cut and everything, a bit of a wax, but he also hoovered the inside. I tell you, my footwells have never actually been cleaner. So I can make a very strong case for Simon Mignolet in terms of his car wash business.
Okay, but
as a goalkeeper, very little to be said.
Leaves a lot to be desired. It's a very good point. I think it's a strange decision to have been made. I think Mignolet certainly not warranted a new contract. But I think you may be right in terms of finances on him. I think his wage has a lot to do with it. He's only paid 60 grand a week when you consider that Pepe Reina, the reason he left was because he was earning 150 grand a week, and FSG wouldn't pay that.
The thing is, can you see anybody buying Simon Mignolet at the end of his season?
Which is why I kind of find the whole idea that he would be trying to save market value very strange.
I mean, I can't even think of a club he'd be good for at the moment.
No, that's the worry, isn't it? It's
maybe Aston Villa.
Yeah, that's a bit insulting to Mignolet, I have to say. Aston Villa, nowhere near relative to that. That's it's a bit farcical. We've had a few texts come in on this subject actually. Tony from Rill says,
Hello, Tony.
Tony says, I think Mignolet is terrible. Can't catch, can't pass, can't save, can't even act in a reliant Robin, which is a bit harsh. Perry from Taunton has said, I don't see why Mignolet gets such grief. Belgium are the number 1 team in the world right now, and he's their second choice goalkeeper. That must prove everything. Which,
valid point.
Valid point. And Luke from Colchester has said, please send help. The fire is spreading quickly, and we can't get to the baby. Well, I hope your day improves soon, Luke.
I mean, really, I'm not sure what Simon Mignolet could do in that situation, but if he were to throw the baby out of a window and hope someone could catch it underneath, I guess a goalkeeper would be the best place to start.
Yes, well, quite.
I believe it's time to take another call. We've actually got someone on line 2. Line 2, are you there? You're through on LLFCC.
Lads, can you hear me, lads?
We can hear you. Yes, you're live on LLFCC.
Hi.
Please do not follow Graham's example and get too sweary. What's your name, please? Where are you calling from?
I won't do that. No, hi, my name's Dermot from Londonderry in Northern Ireland.
Dermot from Londonderry. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, how you doing, Dermot? I'm doing very well, thank you very much. That's great. So, yes, what's your question, Dermot? My question is this. What's going on with this defending from corners? Corners it's such a terrible thing. We just need to keep conceding goals all the time.
Sorry, Dermot. Defending from coroners.
Coroners. Yeah, that get.
Sorry, Dermot. If you're going to talk to me like that, we will cut you off.
Yeah,
what's all this about defending from coroners?
Don't be like that. I'm sorry, Owen. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Matt. Can you?
Yeah.
What's he saying?
Do you want me to do a translate for you?
Yeah, if you would. Sorry, I'm not very good.
Can you understand me, Matt? No, I'm sorry, you can't. That's a bit insulting. Yeah, I'm sorry. Look, Dermot, what's your question? Something with corners, yeah? Yeah,
corners. Sorry, Dermot. I thought you said coroners.
My question is this, lads. What are we going to do about defending from them? I mean, we've conceded so many of the other team in the league from corners, and quite frankly, I've had enough of it. How do we fix this? So I think what he's asking there, Owen, is that how do we fix our problems leaking so many goals from corners and set pieces generally? Like free kicks and just wide areas and stuff like that. It's just disgraceful. I think free kicks and wide areas, things like that.
Well, I mean, you raised a very good question, Dermot.
Thank you.
I apologise for the early misunderstanding. I think the accent threw me slightly. I mean, really, you've got to point the finger mainly at 5 people, which is, of course, the defence and the goalkeeper. But there's a 6th figure who is sort of escaping blame at the moment, which is Jurgen Klopp. He has been manager now since October. This is coming into his 5th month as manager of Liverpool Football Club, and we are still conceding from corners. And I do think it's time we started holding Klopp to account and saying, what are you working on in training at Melwood every day? Because it certainly doesn't seem to be defending from set pieces, and I would say that's what we need to work on most. I mean, how would you feel about that, Dermot?
Well, to be fair to that, Klopp was saying that they play a game every three bloody days. Well, I can't possibly do any training in that time. No, it's a good point actually. No training. When we don't get any time to do that, it is difficult to work on set pieces.
I mean, yes, I take that, especially in a manic month like we've had, but surely there is some time to train, and surely just playing the games will act as some training. I mean, the players aren't getting any better. What's going on?
What about that sign you're steering Colker? I don't understand that either. Sorry, can you say that again?
Sorry.
Colker. Sorry, sorry, I think we're getting some fuzz on the line. Could you just be clear on that?
Dermot, have you got your radio on in the background? If you could just turn your radio off.
Sorry, lads.
We're getting a bit of a loop.
I'm going to turn it off now.
There we go. Thank you. Yeah. What was your point? Sorry, Dermot.
Is that better, lads? Yeah, that's much better. Stephen Colker. I don't understand. Why do we sign Stephen Colker? I mean, why do we sign? January transfer window is just called too many players. We couldn't even sign one player but for Stephen Colker. What's that about? Stephen Colker, I think, was his topic. It was the only player we signed, and could we have bought someone else maybe to help the problem?
Well, various names were touted about. Neven Subotic, for one thing, was mentioned. The problem is, of course, Dermot, we have is it's the middle of January. Transfer prices are massively inflated at this time of year, as we saw from Alex Teixeira. And clubs don't want to let players go in the middle of the season, especially strong players, which is why we've ended up with Stephen Colker, who I don't think is a strong player.
No, I don't think so. I don't get it.
Sorry?
I just don't get it. I don't think he understands, Owen. I mean, yeah, I agree. It is a very strange one, but actually, we sent a couple of tweets in about this. Actually, at Kiltmeister has said we need new defenders. Subotic and Hummels would be my choice. Throw in Goetze and Lewandowski as well. In fact, can we just sign the whole title-winning Dortmund side? That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
I mean, if you'd like to pay for it, that's fine. But it's very easy to say that when you're not stumping up the cash, Kiltmeister.
But then on the other side of it, we've got at Kurt Providence, who's tweeted in to say it's all about the coach. Sort out your backs and get the plays in order before setting up the offensive line. I think he might be. I think Providence might be a reference to Rhode Island. There, it's an slightly American look on things.
Well, we've actually also had a text in from Felicity in North London, who has sent in a rather unconventional suggestion for how to deal with set pieces. She has said, every time this season that we've had a penalty shootout, our goalkeeper has been surprisingly good, and yet at set pieces, both of them have been surprisingly bad. Therefore, would it be a good idea to start fouling players deliberately inside the penalty area and give away penalties rather than corners, as we seem to have a better chance of saving them? I mean, how do you feel about that, Matt?
Well, I think, Dermot, have you got any points? That's quite an interesting argument.
I think he makes quite an interesting suggestion there.
I think that's a really that's a slightly strange idea. I don't like that very much. No.
Yeah, like you wouldn't want to see us deliberately giving away penalties.
No, that's always so farcical. I don't think we need to do that at all. Sorry, Dermot, which part of Ireland are you from? Londonderry. Right, okay, because your accent's going a little bit all over the place. Don't be like that, Matt. That's so unfair of you. Look, just come on. We need your point. What's your point? So I just don't get it. Why would you do that? That's ridiculous.
Well, it does seem ridiculous. I mean, I'm just like I say, I don't necessarily endorse or condone Felicity from North London's point of view. She's as entitled to a valid opinion as you are, Dermot.
Stupid. No, not like that.
No, I'm sorry, Dermot. Right, Dermot, I think that's enough from you. I think it's time to go away and have a cold shower.
Sorry, mate.
Thank you, Dermot in Londonderry.
Thank you, Dermot. Owen, let's move on quickly. You're on the text this evening, as you said before. Well, apparently, you've got another question from one of our listeners.
Yes, we've got a text here from Jeremy in Westwood Ho, who says in January we've seen a lot of players coming back from loan under Klopp. Klopp seems very keen to have his loan players back, as we've discussed, Matt. And so Jeremy is asking, is it time that we abandoned Liverpool's loan system entirely and created something completely new?
That's quite interesting. Quite an interesting take. Owen, have you got any thoughts on what we could do as instead? Because it seems like to go on our own would be a little bit like Britain leaving the EU, wouldn't it? Really.
Well, yes, which we will actually be discussing in a separate radio show when we cover for the politics show tomorrow lunchtime. But yes, I mean, I don't think it's an entirely good idea, and yet the players we have called back from loan this season, Ojo, Kent, Ilori, Stewart, seem to be playing a lot better under Klopp, and actually when they're playing for the Liverpool first team, than they ever seem to be playing on loan. Ojo in particular, who seemed a very exciting prospect at the start of the season. Very underwhelming spell at Wolves. Stewart didn't do an awful lot at Swindon, but then did struggle with injuries. Laurie, of course, never played for Villa. Harry Wilson, Wales' youngest ever international, hardly got a look in at Crewe Alexandra. Then you've got players like Lloyd Jones, who's been injured, Jordan Williams, who's been injured, Lawrence Vigouroux, who's been fairly solid, if not spectacular at Swindon, Samad Yessel out at Lucerne, not been doing particularly, not exactly setting Switzerland alight. There's a lot of players, Ryan McLaughlin, also at Aberdeen, who's also come back now. In fact, the number of players we've sent out on loan who have actually made an impact, you could count on one hand. You've got Kent at Coventry, Canos at Brentford, and maybe Markovic up there as well, but it doesn't seem to be working, Matt, and I think something does need to change, because they do seem to be doing much better when they're training with the first team and playing with the first team and getting the benefit of Klopp's management skills than when they're just farmed out to all parts of the country, playing in League One and not coming up against proper opposition.
Now this is an issue, obviously, that Klopp's just come back, so there is that element of having Klopp, before when Brendan Rodgers was here, that was maybe a different ethos, and Klopp has said he'd rather have the players in with training. So there is that element of it's a new, it's a new thing, it's a new idea. And you're right, maybe them coming back and having time to learn and train with the methods is more beneficial to them in the long run. Now the other side of it is the fact that you look at a team like Chelsea who have turned the loan system into a business model essentially by buying and stealing all the talent from everywhere else, and then flogging it out on loan to both parent clubs and other clubs in order to keep the best players to eventually sell them off for profit, but keep them on the books and give them the game time required to increase their market value. Now, in Liverpool's case, that just isn't working because the players aren't getting the game time, as you say, aren't progressing, and actually ended up leaving, for basically nothing. So you're right.
And you're right. And Nicola from Chichester seems to agree with you. We've got a text from her saying that the problem is not the loan system, but the clubs we're loaning them to. We need to be more careful with who we're loaning players to, and more assurance that they will actually play their players and give them first-team opportunities. If not, it's a waste of time for all concerned. Quite strong words from Nicola in Chichester there. But do you agree with that?
It's a good point. In fact, there is one thing. When we're loaning players out, I mean, you look at Watford. Watford own essentially 3 or 4 clubs. I think the Pozzo family own Granada in Spain, Udinese, Watford as well, and they loan their players out to these clubs almost knowing they're going to get game time out there. We don't really have a partner club like that. We don't really have we have clubs we loan to regularly, but not in the same way. Is that an idea that maybe would work for us?
Well, I think there's something slightly dodgy about the Watford business model in terms of how they transfer players between their clubs. There's certainly also a way around several rules, such as the youth fee tribunal that's come into focus with the Jerome Sinclair transfer being mooted recently. Of course, Watford would quite like to have Jerome Sinclair, but if they were to buy him, they would have to pay us a tribunal fee, much like we did to Burnley for Danny Ings. And so their current solution is for Udinese to buy Jerome Sinclair, thus ruling out having to pay a tribunal fee because he's going abroad, and for then Udinese to loan him straight back to Watford, which I do think is slightly unethical. The thing is, it depends whether we want to loan players out to lower league teams in this country or to top level teams in other countries. It's what we've done with people like Ilori and Alberto and Yesel and Markovic, but it doesn't really seem to be helping them. And yet when we send them out to lower league teams in this country, it also doesn't help them. I mean, look at a particular example, Joe Maguire. Was loaned out to Leyton Orient at the beginning of the season and only played 1 game for them. And he's come back to us and he's played more than that for us already. So,
yes, that's a good point.
Are we just looking at the fact that our young players just aren't good enough? I mean, if you can't get a game for Leyton Orient, why the hell should you get a game for Liverpool?
That's a good point. No, I agree. I just, in terms of coming up with a different system, I don't know if I have one. I think keeping them at the club maybe is the better option, but there's certainly no other viable, outside of the idea of the B teams and the second teams, which has been sort of banded around recently from various FA sort of points of view. I don't, that would be probably the only other way around it, really.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's really not many alternative suggestions, but of course if you do have any, please do keep them coming in. Text to the usual number, tweet us at LLFCC, and if you've got any alternative systems, we would like to hear them. But I think we've got another caller on the line now. Hello, where are you and how can we help?
Good evening, guys. This is Gus from Adelaide. How you doing?
Hello, Gus, Adelaide. You're long distance call there, Gus.
Yes, absolutely. How are you doing, Gus? I'm great, guys. How are you, guys?
Well, good, thank you, Gus. What's the weather like in Adelaide at the moment, Gus? What time is it out there?
Oh, it's about 8 a.m. over here. We're just out on the beach having a lovely time. It's beautiful weather, and I thought I might go shopping later. We'll have to see.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to call us, Gus.
Yes,
thank you.
Absolutely, Gus. There's a bit of a delay on the line, but we'll go with it anyway. What's your question? Oh, sorry, guys. I hope that's not too much of a bother. No, I think we can get through this.
That's fine. Yep, we'll muddle through. We've had Dermot already, so I'm sure we can handle this.
Right, my question is thus. Jurgen arrived at Liverpool with a glowing reputation and fantastic fanfare, but results haven't really improved, and our injury crisis is as bad as I've ever seen the bloody thing. So how do you think he's done as our manager up to this point? Good question.
Well, that's quite a multifaceted question you're asking there, Gus. Overall,
Oh,
I would
sorry,
say
guys.
no, that's fine, Gus.
Fine.
That's what we're here for. But I guess my first point is, how do you think he's doing?
Oh, I think he's bloody great. Did you see?
Yeah.
Did you see him running on the pitch with his glasses? I thought that was bloody bonzo. I thought that was.
That was very funny.
You're very yes, it was very funny. It's your cliches, Gus. Thank you for those. Oh, no bother, guys. So absolutely, that was You think Klopp's doing well? Oh yeah, he's bloody great. That delay disappeared quickly, didn't it? Oh no, didn't it just? I thought he's a terrific guy, and he seems to be. We're not playing particularly better, but we're certainly not doing too bad.
So if we're not playing better, Gus, how long do you think? How long would you give Klopp before we do start playing better? And say if we're not playing better by this time next year, is it time to get rid of him?
Oh, you got to give him an Australian winner. You got to give him a couple of months to get some proper players in. I mean, look at the nonsense we've got at the moment. That's good. Yeah. Well, who do you think is nonsense, Gus?
Yeah. Do you want to? What do you mean by that, Gus?
I think. No. Who's that guy? He wears the shirt and he runs around. Who's him? Can need more information, Gus. Sorry. Oh, you know the one with the haircut.
Lallana? Is that
Who?
Adam Lallana plays in midfield.
Who?
Adam England used to play for Southampton, Gus.
Who?
Right, I don't think we're not getting.
You mean Lallana? You mean Lallana? Yeah, that's it. Lallana. Lallana. Oh right, Lallana. No, not him. Who else? Who's nonsense?
Well, we can't just list every player in the Liverpool squad.
I think
we don't really have time for that.
No, I think we're gonna have to move. We're gonna have to. Oh no! Come on, guys, give me a second. It's Lovren. Oh, Lovren.
Right.
What's wrong with Lovren? Who? This isn't going well.
Yes.
Lovren's is not very good. That's what I think. Okay, so Lovren's not very good, for example.
So what are you suggesting you don't seem to be making coherent points, Gus. So do you think that Klopp needs to get rid of Lovren, or does Lovren need to get rid of Klopp?
Don't be a bally drongo. He needs to go. He needs to leave. I think we can do better.
Who, Klopp or Lovren?
Lovren, you bally drongo.
Right, can we just try and remain civil, please, Gus? I appreciate there's a bit of difficulty with a line. You are halfway around the world. But
sorry,
that kind of attitude it's not going to help, okay?
Sorry, guys.
We've already had Dermot on. We've already had Graham getting increasingly volatile. Let's just try and keep this civil, please.
I guess that's just the automatic default emotion you feel when you're doing this sort of thing. No, I think that we just need to get some new players in. I think Jurgen needs to build a team, and maybe then we'll see some real success from him. But for now, we're in a cup final, and that's great. And I think we can continue to be proud of ourselves for having a decent club that could do better, but could be worse. And I guess we'll see. It's a very good point, Gus. I think we're gonna have to let you go there, Gus.
Yeah, but, that's some good balance from Gus there. Just following on from what we said
guys.
earlier. Thank you, Gus. Have a good summer.
Cheers.
Oh, thanks. Merry Christmas. Gus Fair from Adelaide.
Yes.
Global reach of Liverpool Football Club displayed tonight.
We've had some interesting texts quickly come in on that subject. In fact, Thomas from Stuttgart has texted in to say Liverpool are very lucky to have Jurgen. In Germany, he is worshipped as some kind of deity, and we cannot believe he's decided to leave this land of such fun and frivolity for a place with such bad weather. Sean from Manchester has actually texted in to say, "Ha, Jurgen was a fake all along. Good luck to your rubbish manager, rubbish pool, Van Hal Army."
Oh, get out.
Yeah, I think that might be a troll. Thanks to the researcher for letting that one through. And Fiona from Middlesex has said, "I'm very sorry, James, but I can't do this any longer. 5 years is a long time and I just don't love you anymore." So, bad luck for James there.
Yeah, we'll make sure we pass that on. And just following on from what we said earlier about alternatives to the loan system, Jimmy from Ipswich has sent us a text saying, "Let's have a player rota, much like my A-level history class have a cake rota. Each week a different one of us will have to bring in a cake. So last week I brought in some flapjacks during a lesson on Elizabeth I and her attitude to the Catholic Church, and everyone agreed they were the best cakes we'd had all term. Do you think this would work at Anfield?" Matt, I'm not quite sure what Jimmy's suggesting there, other than
Eat cake.
flapjacks.
Eat cake. It's very difficult for me to have that kind of point when I'm a diabetic.
Yeah, I think we'll move on from that one. But thank you, Jimmy, and stay in school.
Thank you, Jimmy. Okay, we've got time for one more caller. Hello, you're on the air. What's your name? What's your question?
Hello, how's it going?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Yeah, my name's Ian. I'm just calling in. I just thought, I've been listening all evening. I thought it's getting a bit pessimistic at times. What with Graham saying that Simon Mignolet's shite and all that.
Whoa! Don't say or bugger on the radio. Sorry. Sorry.
Matt, you're not helping.
Sorry.
Okay, and anyway, Ian clearly said shite, not or bugger.
No, you've done it.
Guys, what are you playing at? Both of you, you're such a pet. Right, okay, shall we start this call again? Ian, how are you doing? I'm right, yeah, how are you?
We're doing very well, thank you very much, Ian. What's your question?
What were you saying? Right, well, I just want to say, it's been quite a pessimistic discussion. It's been quite a hard month. Benteke's obviously not been very good. Mignolet's obviously not been very good. None of us have really been that good, let's be honest. But, it's only the end of January. We're in the cup final. We're still in the FA Cup. We're still in the Europa League. We're still in the league. So my question is this, just to end on a sort of optimistic note, do you think realistically we can still do the quadruple?
Oh, okay, Ian. Ian, where are you calling from again?
I'm from Kirkby.
Kirkby. And what do you do for a job there?
Am I a milkman?
Are you a milkman? Are you asking yourself that?
No, sorry, I am a milkman. I got a little pistachio caught in my throat, as I said.
Pistachio? Oh, you eat pistachios, are you?
It would be a good idea, Ian, not to eat. If you're coming on a radio phoning, maybe stop eating while you're calling it.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, I just got a bit of it's nerves. I don't call up a lot of radio stations, and so I find like eating nuts really helps me focus on me. Sorry, it's not even a different pistachio. It's the same one, just come back up again. Well, it's a really persistent little book.
Ian, we're very grateful for you calling.
Pistachio. We're all big fan of pistachios. Sorry, I know it's just
Ian, we're
much more digestible than peanuts. Peanuts just tend to get stuck in me tracts. Do you know what I mean?
Ian, it's fine.
That's a lot of information there, Ian.
Ian, thank you very much. We're grateful you called our station. We're really, really glad. Your point is you think we can still do the quadruple? Well,
I don't necessarily think we can still do it. I think it'd be nice if we did it, because obviously no English club has ever won the quadruple. Certainly not us. Well, not anyone, in fact, as I've just said, because no English club has ever won the quadruple. But I do think it would be, it would be a great statement of intent for next season if we go in and say, look, we hold all of these trophies already, so come on and take them off us. Like if Klopp comes in and says, I only started in October and look, I've won 4 trophies. That's 4 more than Rodgers managed in 3 years. Ha 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 ha. Which I think would be a little unfair. But if he said that, then it'd be very difficult for anyone to disagree with him, because he'd have the medals in his hand. And I mean, we're still in the FA Cup, we're in the League Cup final, we're still in the Europa League, and we're technically still in the Premier League. So I mean, do you think we can do the quadruple? It's a straightforward question, Matt.
Okay, Owen. So the quadruple is is what Ian would like us to discuss. Now. He has a very good point. We thank you, Ian, for that.
You're welcome. I mean,
Ian, no, you can't just say. Ian, you've had your time.
I'm a really big fan of the whole podcast.
You've had your time.
Listening for ages, and I just want to say you two are doing a really great job. And I know you got a lot of complaints, but no, keep it up. It's really good. Thanks. Cheers, Ian. Thank you. Very kind of you.
Right,
yeah,
where are we
will answer
starting?
your question though, if we can remember it in that lot. Blimey. Can we do the quadruple?
Right, so we're in the League Cup final. He's got a very good point there. We are in the League Cup final. So potentially a trophy could be in the cabinet, which is a fantastic, would be a fantastic start to Klopp's reign.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be as much of a psychological boost as anything else.
Yeah. I think certainly the FA Cup is not beyond reach. It is difficult to see with certainly so many games that we've played over the last month, and in fact will be coming up in February as well. It's a lot of games, and I mean, considering we drew against West Ham in our last game, we've got to go and play a replay. It would require a hell of a lot of stamina from our squad.
I do actually feel that the FA Cup is less of a genuine chance from the Europa League. I know the Europa League will have twice as many games almost, because we'll have a 2-leg tie in every game, but I think in terms of the levels of opposition, if Peterborough lose their FA Cup replay, this will be the lowest amount of non-Premier League sides in the 5th round of the FA Cup for a good number of seasons, for about 10 years, I think. And so it's only going to be harder from here on in. We're going to have to beat Premier League opposition in every round if we want to if we want to reach a final. And I don't think, based on how we've played against Premier League opposition in the actual Premier League, I don't think that's a realistic prospect.
No, it's a challenging prospect. You're absolutely right. As for Europe, there's certainly, last 32 is a good draw for us. Augsburg, a team who, Klopp will know well. We can probably get through that, but there is a hell of a lot of competition in that tournament.
There is, and there's some big teams that have just come out of the Champions League group stages as well that are being thrown into the mix.
There's some big teams who've gone, like Borussia Dortmund is still in there, for God's sake.
Yeah, Borussia Dortmund. I mean, there's some very big clubs, there's some very good clubs, and there's also Man United, who don't really come under either of those either under those descriptions. But I think we'll have our work cut out to win that one, but I do think it will be easier to win than the FA Cup, perversely, because we've got a very big squad. They're an unknown quantity, and I think they will only see more action as the Europa League season progresses, which will mean they will gel better as a team, they will get to know each other better, they will get more confidence, more experience, and I think by the end of the season we might even see people like Cameron Brannigan playing in the semi-finals, maybe even the final of a cup competition.
That'd be fantastic. It would be fantastic. I think that's a good idea. Well, that just leaves the Premier League. Now the Premier League. That's. I loved Ian's ambition there, but that is some. I think we are somewhere off the league somehow at the moment.
While I appreciate your optimism, Ian, and your desire to see us get back on a kind of an upbeat note, I do think you may be pissing into the wind slightly there.
I do worry about that. But thank you for your call, Ian. Are you still there? Nope. Okay.
Ian? Yeah, no, I'm still here. Sorry, mate. I was just finishing off these packet of pistachios because the ones that won right best a little bit harder to get up the shelves because obviously they've settled down to the bottom in transit. So yeah, I was taking my mind off things. Sorry, I wasn't concentrating. What were you saying? What was the answer? Do you think we can win the quadruple?
Oh, sorry, Ian. We've got to go. We're running out of time. And so,
nice talking to you, Ian.
So, any last message?
Stay smiling. Keep smiling.
Owen, any last messages before we go?
We've had several more texts come in. Don't have time to read them all out, but they are very much appreciated. We do read all of them. Jimmy from Ipswich is still talking about. He's now talking about rock cakes and angel slices. So thank you very much to Jimmy. If someone could please get Jimmy's number and sort of block it from our system, that would be good.
That'd be good. A couple of tweets that have just come in. At Donkey Dance has said, "I don't know how to use this, dear, but I hope your herpes clear up soon. Love, Nan." So there's this. I'm sure someone will appreciate that. I thought the Laidlaw has said, "Why are you letting these hipsters ruin our city with art studios and cereal cafes?" Hashtag gentrification. Hashtag Ask Boris. I think you'll probably want to save that message until the next show, London Live, which is coming up very shortly.
Valid question, though. Valid question.
Very valid question. And at Steve from the gym has said, "Niall forever. He's my one and only heart emoji. One Direction. Hashtag Niall." Thanks, Steve. That's very sweet of you. We appreciate all the tweets and messages that have come in.
Yes.
And that's all the questions and all the time we have for today, I'm afraid, at LLFCC. Thank you to everyone who sent us messages and called in. We'll be back if the boss is to decide to recommission our show again. Until then, stand by as we return to the classic Scousers General Review.